What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Dr. Cyber, and today we're going to do things a little bit differently, right? We're going to get kickstarted with reviews on my channel. I know a lot of my content, or majority, if not all of my content, is educational. We're going to do whiteboard sessions. We're going to go do tips. So we're going to start getting creative. And this is one of the things that I want to do on my channel is highlight other channels and really pull away and dissect different points, right? There's so many other channels that produce a lot of fruit and are very, very informative that we can actually utilize and review and take a lot of the concepts that they've actually executed on or a lot of things that they've learned, we can apply it to cybersecurity principles, right? And this is Myron Golden. For you guys that don't know him, he's a very, very, very incredible individual, right? One of my favorite people to watch, whether it's from a biblical standpoint, whether it's from a professional standpoint, whether it's from a businessman standpoint. I mean, the guy's awesome, and he's a wealth of knowledge. So today, I just wanted to kind of get into some of the things that he's hitting on. He's always dropping gems, always dropping gems. And I know that going through these videos, we can extract a lot of information and we can apply it to a cybersecurity perspective, right? So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And let's go ahead and just review this video raw and uncut, right? I haven't, did any research on any prior videos or anything. Just watching this, right? So we're all watching this together. And I want to give my honest opinion, and I also want to enlighten you guys and provide insight to you guys on what he's saying and how you can apply it to your cybersecurity career. So let's go ahead and get this kicked off.
Discouraged because the thing you're working on feels like it's not working? I know I have. In fact, I remember a time when I was so discouraged that I was literally, I'm not even exaggerating a little, I was literally sitting on my back patio crying.
And I forgot to mention, let me pause it real quick. So this review is based on cybersecurity, right? Everything that I do on my page is based off of cybersecurity. What I want to do is I want to integrate. I really want to identify everything that he's saying and how you can apply it to your life, not just in cybersecurity, right? But just anything career-wise, anything that you want to build, anything that you want to create. Apply these different principles. And often, a lot of people, what they like to do is they like to stop, they like to get discouraged. And, I always motivate my students and I always try to motivate my community to keep going, right? There are always going to be roadblocks. But from what we can see in the title of this video, don't quit right before it starts working. So that's the title of the video. I just wanted to kind of take a step back and let you guys know that, but we'll go ahead and proceed.
My wife's shoulder because what I was working on didn't feel like it was working. Well, today, I want to encourage you. The thing you're working on is working. It may not be making you money yet. It may not be getting you thousands of video views. It may not be getting you thousands of followers on your social media. It may not be generating hundreds of leads or thousands of leads, but I promise you it's working. And I know it's working because all work works. I was talking to one of my favorite authors a few weeks ago. Or not even, last week. It was last week. I was talking to one of my favorite.
What he said is absolutely correct. Often at times, and especially in cybersecurity, people try to land positions. They try to create different strategies for themselves, but they never let it work. They never fail, learn from that experience, and go on again. Often you see people, whether they're actually starting businesses or whether people are actually just trying to get into career or career change, they'll try something, it gets too hard, and then they quit. They throw in the towel. So before it can actually work on them, they've already given up. That's why they said it's a high percentage of most businesses that fail. And that's why often you see people going from one business to another business to another business because they won't let the work be done on them. They just want to see instant results or immediate gratification instead of delayed gratification. So that's just one thing to really just take in consideration as you continue to grow, and whether you're looking to, go into one career field or whether you're looking to, start a business, let it do the work. Let it do the work. And why I'm getting so amped up about it is he says this in all of his videos. So I already know this is going to be a banger in terms of like him breaking things down.
Favorite authors, talking to him on the phone, and we were talking about his journey and his path that he's on. And he asked me a question. He said, I want to ask you a logistical question. Practical question, that's the word he used. He said, I want to ask you a practical question. He said, do you think I would be better off focusing on finding the right who to 10x my life right now, or should I focus more on going deeper in the understanding of my craft?
You know, so often, again, people look for the results immediately. Before they even get good at something, they look for the results. Instead of mastering their craft, instead of, really diving deep into what the customer is actually looking for, diving in deep to see what the recruiter or the hiring manager is looking for, they want to automatically see instant results. But it does not work like that. You have to be more obsessed from developing your craft, right? And after going on now 16 years of experience for me being in the industry, I've mastered my craft in various areas. That's why I'm able to coach you guys, and I'm really able to break things down effectively and really help people navigate in this space. Because I don't want people to have the same, failures that I've faced, or the same challenges that I've faced until I've started to experience success, right? So it's very, very imperative that you master your craft. Master your craft. One thing I never did is I never gave up. Never gave up. Once you put your mind to something, stick with it. Stick with it long enough to actually do the work.
I thought, that's a really, really good question. And I said, well, I would always lean more in favor of going deeper on my craft, because all work works. And more important to me about the work that I do than having it work for me is having it work on me. And the work that the work does on me, to me, is more valuable than the work that the work does for me. In fact, it's the work that the work does on me that makes the work that it does for me so valuable. And one of the things I share with people all the time is all work works. It either works for me.
See, once you've mastered your craft, things become seamless at that point. It's about mastering your craft, so when you do actually put it in action and put it into work, everything just flows. The profit would actually come. So many people want to skip the development phase when it comes to things, and they just want to get that immediate gain. Same thing in cybersecurity. As I'm coaching individuals, my goal is to slow things down and to always help them understand what they're looking for, right? What direction they're trying to go down, what are their existing skill sets, what are their transferable skills, how can they hone in on those, how can they enhance those skills, right? It's about mastering your craft, and then everything else will come shortly after that.
Or it works on me, but I left one out. Or it works with me. Or it works against me. But all work works. And so here's what I've got to do. I've got to be willing, and this is something most people are unwilling to do. I've got to be willing to do the work, commence on the work, and I got to be willing to continue in the work while the work is not working for me. Until it works on me long enough for me to become the person for whom it can work. That is the challenge of entrepreneurship. That is the challenge of personal growth. Letting the thing I'm working on work on me until I become the person for whom it can work. So I'm never
And these principles aren't just for entrepreneurship. Just to let you guys know, this can be for a 9-to-5 job. It could be independent contracting, whatever the case may be. These are principles that are actually global, Let the work actually work on you and take its place, take its effect. Why do you think you see so many people, when they've reached a certain level of success, they automatically fall, right? They reach a level and then they fall back down. They reach a level and they fall back down. It's because they haven't let the work actually master their craft. So when they actually get to that position, they're still there. They stay there, right? They're able to maintain that level of profit and create sustainability at that level because they've mastered that craft.
Worried about like something I'm working on not making money or not making sales. I don't ever worry about that. And well, yeah, man, it's easy for you not to worry about it. You make all this money. That's not why I don't worry about it. I don't worry about it because I know it's working on me. See, most people don't realize there are people who get started in entrepreneurship, and what they'll do is they'll go into entrepreneurship and they'll try a business
Mm-hmm.
for 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years, and they're like, that didn't work. No, it worked. You were just so busy trying to make it work for you, you were
Yep.
resisting the work it was doing on you.
I can't even explain how many people in terms of coaching I've helped get past this gap, right? They want to see immediate gain, immediate benefit when they're actually looking to transition to the cybersecurity space. And for a lot of them, it happens right away. Some of them, it doesn't. Some of them, maybe it takes 2 months. Maybe it takes 3 months. Maybe it takes 4 months. Everybody's different. It's not a one shoe fits all approach with anything, but it depends on your level of competency and where you're actually at. But so many people are afraid to let the work be done on them. They're looking for immediate gain and immediate gratification. We live in a microwavable society, especially with social media. You see people with cars, you see people with, Lambos, ships and your yachts and all vacation and everything. And it's all a facade. It's all a facade. Jealousy is the enemy. And I think in this society, so many people have adopted to the philosophy of, oh, I want things quick. I want things now. I want things here. Instead of working on them and having themselves do the work internally, changing their mindset and their perspective and becoming a person who can actually execute.
But when I got started, I wasn't good at business, and I wasn't good at sales, and I wasn't good at leadership. I wasn't good at any of that stuff. In fact, I didn't even know what half of it meant. I had no idea. I thought selling was talking people into buying stuff. I had no idea what selling really was. And I was so bad at selling. That when I got started selling insurance and investments in 1985, in October of 1985, I did not make my first sale until April of 1987. And I did a lot of presentations. People kept saying no, 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 no. You know what those no's did for me? They made me better. How could no's make you better? If they weren't buying from you, how can you say the no's made you better? The no's made me better because I was learning all the things that wouldn't work.
See, this is the issue with social media, right? Social media doesn't show you the no's. It doesn't show you the failures of anything. Only thing it shows you is the glitz and glamour. This person has a yacht. This person went on vacation, X, Y, and Z. This person got a Lambo, this, that, and the third, right? Regardless of whether it's a real experience or whether they're, putting on a facade, they don't show you the real experience. There's no integrity involved with a lot of these social media platforms, right? With a lot of these channels or people that you guys actually follow. There is a failure process that you have to endure, and everybody has to endure. But that doesn't mean necessarily it's a bad thing, because it's not. That's how you master your craft, brick by brick, day by day, doing the boring things on a daily basis. It's not about getting a dopamine fix and really just, going out, doing this, doing that, right? It's about repetitiveness. It's about consistency. That's where you're going to see things actually start to flow and develop, whether it's in your career or whether it's actually in your personal life.
Make a sale. So you're not willing to work on something long enough to find out what won't work in the thing you're working on. And after I made my first sale, it was literally a couple months. I was the top salesperson in our office, month after month after month after month after month. Then I started training other people. Why? People say, well, Myron, what happened? Was it a switch that flipped? Yeah, it was a switch that flipped. It took me 18 months to run out of all the ways it wouldn't work. The only thing I had left were ways that would. And see, some of you, it took me 18 months. Some of y'all it's going to take you 18 years. You know why? Because as soon as somebody says no, you got to go recuperate from your wound. Like you go to you check into the psychological intensive care ward because somebody told you no. It's going to take you 18 years to go through as many no's as I went through in 18 months.
You know what? In football, they used to always say, I remember when I was my football background back in the day when I was playing ball. One of the coaches used to always say to me, always play with intention, but always make sure you have a forgetful mind. Meaning that if you do have a bad play, If you don't let go of that bad play or forget it, it's going to affect the next play, the next quarter, probably even the next game. Same thing with experiences within a job market, right? Whether you're looking to become an entrepreneur and you're doing sales, or whether you're looking to, reach out to to a recruiter regarding a job opportunity, right? A no doesn't mean it's a all end all be all. Excuse me. Need to take a drink. All a no means is number one, it probably wasn't a good fit. Number two, you probably just got to get better in that situation. Or number three, there's just no, right? Sometimes there's no reason there. But a lot of the times we want a response. We want a reason of why this didn't happen or why that didn't happen instead of just perfecting our craft and getting better each and every time.
I was an entrepreneur for 14 years before I had my first six-figure year. But I didn't care. I wasn't working for the money. One of the most valuable things I've ever learned in my life as an entrepreneur is how to stop working for money. What does that even mean? How to stop working for money? See, when I had a job, I was so addicted to a paycheck that work had to turn into relatively immediate pay or I wasn't doing it anymore. Well, but when I started my business, guess what happened? Work didn't turn into immediate pay.
Exactly.
You know what work turned into? It turned into an exercise in delayed gratification.
100%.
And made me a better person than I could have ever been had I had success out of the gate.
See, when it's crunch time and you got to pay bills, or it's crunch time and you got people depending on you, that's when character development is actually starting to take place. That's where your character is starting to grow in those areas, in those times. A lot of the times, character development isn't really pushed to its maximum capacity until we're in situations of discomfort. And discomfort is healthy. Again, society has really watered things down for comfort, for luxury. You don't have to work hard. You just got to run several ads. No, all of that stuff is BS. And the sooner you forget it, the easier it will become for you to grow and adapt to the person that you need to be. I remember first transitioning into cybersecurity. This is how I actually got the recipe 15 years ago. Trial and error, applying to positions, tweaking my resume, refining my interview skills, going through the process. Each interview, I got better and better and better until I perfected, until I understood what the recipe was. I asked questions. I went and worked various positions once I actually got in. I leaned in and I honed into my transferable skills. I seen great resumes. I seen terrible resumes, right? I know what works. I know what doesn't work. I've mastered my craft. This isn't me bragging. This is me just to showcase you guys that for me, it wasn't an overnight success either. Nothing is an overnight success. There is a term out there. Yeah, you can, work 15 years and become an overnight success. Yeah, things can quickly turn overnight, but it's about building brick by brick, developing things brick by brick, little by little.
I understood better how to succeed and how to help people who didn't know how to succeed because I realized when I was broke as a joke and ready to choke, and I'm listening to all these people who are really, really successful, and back in the 80s, they're making $500,000 a year when that was a boatload of money. And they're saying stuff, and they're putting sentences together with words, and I know the definition of the words, and I knew what the sentences sounded like they meant, but I had no earthly idea what they meant. You know why? Because between people who succeed and people who struggle, there's a communication gap.
This is what we talk about all the time. This is what we talk about all the time on my channel. Communication gap. You will see people with 10 certifications still at that same position for maybe 10 years, 8 years, whatever the case may be. You'll see people go to a position, whether it's they go on entry level and they move up another 6 months, they move up another year. Why is that? Why does that happen? That happens because there is some form of communication gap. Certifications aren't going to buy your way to the next level. Certification is about credentials, right? They're about reputation, but they aren't going to buy your way to the next level for you to reach the next, stage or for you to get that promotion. It's about communication. How effectively can you negotiate what you want? How can you convey or articulate what you're looking for? And so many people feel like they can have certifications or they can reach certain milestones and have that speak for them. Now, that doesn't, I'm not saying that doesn't help or doesn't increase credibility, but communication is going to be the key. Whether you're looking to transition into cybersecurity or whether you're looking to get, a promotion or jump to another position, to another level, it's all for communication. The second that recruiters or hiring managers see that you can effectively articulate yourself and really break down some of the responsibilities that you have on your resume, right? Show personality, show that you'll be a good fit, the more likely they are to bring you on board. As I always say, interviews aren't 100% technical. I would feel if I had to rate it or if I had to put a percentage on it, I would say interviews are probably about 10 to 15% technical, right? The other 85, 90% is personality and culture. Your personality. How are you showing yourself on the interview? Are you communicating? Are you showing your personality? Are you laughing? Are you engaging? Are you a good culture fit? So the rest of the 85, 90% is going to be communication, personality, and culture. This matters. These little details matter. It doesn't matter how great you are, how technical you are. You can know every system in the book. At the end of the day, if you're not able to effectively articulate yourself and show that personality and communicate, they're not going to bring you on board. And this is the difference between somebody coming to a position and staying there for 6 months and getting promoted to another position within 8 months, maybe a 50K jump, versus somebody working at the help desk, very technical, endless certifications, but stuck there 8, 9 years.
And they used to say, well, you got to identify your leaders. Well, that's Dr. Ron, and that's Stacy, and that's Denasia, and that's Francesco. I identified them. That's not what he meant. What he meant was you have to identify the people who have leadership characteristics, and then you have to work with those people to develop those characteristics even greater. See, I didn't understand that identify your leaders didn't mean just know, you got to know their names. I knew their names. They were just like me, they were needers. And I'm telling you, all work works. Some of the greatest times in my life, hear me, y'all. Some of the greatest times in my life have been some of the most difficult times in my life. They weren't the most fun times. They weren't the most exciting times. They weren't the most enjoyable times. Let's hear this. They were some of the greatest times in my life. Because God was getting me ready for what he already had ready for me. He was preparing me for what he already had prepared for me. And see, here's what happens. If you don't go through the valley to get to the vision, you ain't strong enough to stay there when you get there.
Preach. A man preaching.
And guess what? Then you get there, not only are you not strong enough to stay there, you can't help anybody else get there. There's so many people who think they know why they're successful. And they think that because they gapped, what do I mean? They had a quantum leap gap in where they were financially or in their business, and they learned something. They read a book, or they went to a seminar, they joined some coaching program, and they had an experience unlike anything they've ever had. They thought, okay, I'm done now. Baby,
literally what I said earlier.
Base. You don't get points when you put your foot on first base. You got to run the bases.
Again, exactly what I said earlier. This is why so many people get in a business or they reach a certain level of success and then they just fall or they fail and they got to climb the stairs to get there again. They haven't mastered their craft. Like Myron just said, maybe they went to first base. They didn't get to second base or third base, right? Or maybe they took a concept, and once they took that concept and they applied it, that pushed them forward, but they thought they were done. See, education and continuous learning is something that's going to be forever, right? A lot of people, they want to retire, and that's okay. It's okay to retire. But after you retire, you should still keep this running. It's imperative.
I get it. You had a little success. No, man, you don't understand. I made millions of dollars. I get it. You had a little success. But I had a $100,000 day. Congratulations. You had a little success. And you think you did it. You think you had that success because you were good.
Mm.
And you actually had that success because you stumbled upon a principle that's good and you applied it, but you don't even understand all the foundational principles that made that framework principle work.
Facts. Facts. 100%. 100%. A principle. You stumbled on a principle, but you don't have the foundational knowledge or basis to keep it going at the same time. And again, guys, this is for me to just showcase how you can apply these principles or this conversation, what he's saying to a cyber perspective, right? So to summarize this whole video, what I want you to guys do is apply these principles. If you're applying the positions, don't get tired. Don't get discouraged. Don't get discontent. Continue working on it. Don't let people intimidate you. Don't let jobs intimidate you. And run your own race. So many people take advice from other people who aren't even in the situation they aspire to be in. Now, make that make sense. If you will continue to do the work, if you will continue to build, if you will continue to be consistent, there's no other way but to reach that level of success. Don't go on from career to career. Don't go on from project to project. Hone in, lock in, and become great at what you do. Let it work on you and let it work on you until you master your craft. So again, that's all I have for you guys today. Um, I'll I'll pin the whole video of this in the description for you guys to find it. Watch the video. The whole video is very, very fruitful. I mean, you guys are going to love it. Again, his name is Myron Golden. I love watching his content. He's phenomenal. He has so much content. I haven't even covered a lot of it, but I figure on my page we can get to covering a lot of his content alongside other content we can use as an example. So, but that's it, guys. And again, new subscribers or new viewers, go ahead and punch that subscribe button. It really helps out a lot. And for my existing community viewers, thank you guys. Thank you guys for supporting me. And the more you help this page grow, the more people we can reach and the more we could actually just do great things. So again, I hope this blesses you guys. You guys have a great day. And I'll tap in with you guys later. Peace.